Hi, my name is David Dennis, and I'd like to introduce you to my family. This is my wife, Patty, and these are our children, Connor, Annie, and Ethan. And this is our sending church, Fargo Baptist Church of Fargo, North Dakota.
Pastor Skebbing came to Fargo over 25 years ago and planted this work. This is where I was saved in April of 1988, and my wife was saved 5 years later. Shortly thereafter, I began working in the ministry here and eventually became the associate pastor. I've enjoyed serving here for the past 20 years. In 2011, the Lord began to stir us, and we wondered if He was calling us to be missionaries, possibly overseas. But then, my pastor and I discussed a need right here in our own backyard.
Northwest North Dakota was a sparsely populated area until the discovery of the Bakken Formation underneath northwest North Dakota ignited an oil boom. It is one of the most talked about economic phenomenon in the country, appearing in the media worldwide. The promise of large income has lured thousands of men and some families from all over the country to the Bakken. Missionaries know that when people are uprooted from home and family, it is a prime time for God to deal with hearts. We are praying that the upheaval of relocation and isolation for months and even years will bring about opportunities for God to draw souls to Himself. This oil boom is expected to last 30 years, with more oil in the Bakken than in Saudi Arabia. This newfound prosperity comes at a cost. Most people come here with little in their pockets, so while they work and save their paychecks, they live in the vehicles that brought them here and shower at the truck stop. Within a year, workers that make it through their first North Dakota winter then buy RVs or live in company-subsidized man camps, away from home, away from wife and children, away from church family. And this is the point. The real cost to oil workers in the North Dakota oil patch is spiritual. In the midst of the greatest financial opportunity for hard workers of this decade, there is a famine in the oil patch. Not of food or water, but of hearing the word of the Lord. In the absence of home, family, and faith, sin and vice take up residence. We are praying that these lifestyle choices will help oil workers realize how empty and dissatisfying they are.
We have here the Rock Bar and Grill.
Only Jesus Christ can fill the void. This growth is expected for decades, bringing in new workers, new families, new opportunities for souls to be saved, and for churches to be started.
There are several folks from Fargo Baptist Church that are dedicated to moving to the oil patch. We will be centrally located near the town of Watford City. From here, we hope to be able to reach out to Williston, Tioga, and other communities. As a team, we can greatly increase our evangelistic opportunities. What we want to do is for each of us to commit ourselves to reach others, to engage in one-on-one Bible studies. After salvation, to invest our lives into their lives and disciple them, and in turn, teach the new convert his personal responsibility to reach another. Here's how the spreading of the gospel works. Let's just say that in 1 year, one person reached only one, who was then saved and discipled. Then let's say the next year, If those two each reach 1, now there are 4. If those 4 then would each find 1, there would be 8. 8 becomes 16. 16 multiplies into 32, and so on. This is the method that Jesus Christ practiced, that Paul followed. Did you know that after 31 years, if we faithfully followed this example, we would reach over 1 billion people? This is why, about 30 years after Christ, the Apostle Paul could say that the gospel came unto you as it is in all the world. Colossians 1:6. How do we plan to do this? We follow the order as given by our commander, Jesus Christ. As my Father hath sent me, so send I you. John 20:21. Jesus Christ is talking to you and I today. You see, Jesus Christ began a movement, not just for his generation, but for the future, for our generation. The goal is to build a work not for today, but for tomorrow. A movement that will produce churches that will plant other churches for generations to come. The plan. Number 1, pray. Here is where you come in. Pray that God would prepare tender and searching hearts. Number 2, we go. We go door to door and engage people with the gospel at company man camps, RV camps, residential areas. We seek a time slot on local radio stations to give the gospel and to offer Bible studies. Number 3, we disciple. After salvation, to disciple the new convert by investing our lives and the Word of God into their lives. To instill into every believer their personal responsibility to reach people with the gospel. Time is short. The harvest will soon be over, but if we reach people who will reach others, then we multiply the laborers we can send into the harvest. And the things that thou hast heard of me, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also. 2 Timothy 2:2.
2,000 years ago, Jesus Christ began a movement where those he saved would in turn reach others with the gospel. He also trained his church to start other New Testament churches.
The church that Jesus built still works. It's the only way we're going to reach the world. Would you help us with this opportunity to continue the movement that Jesus Christ began?
To plant scriptural New Testament churches until the return of Christ. Would you help us to invest in that which is eternal, the lost souls in the North Dakota oil patch?